What's going on, guys, and Shark Faithful? Sorry that I cannot make the video with my normal camera like I normally do it, but hopefully I'll get the point out across as you're watching this. So the Sharks are playing the Red Wings in round two. Another, just like last year, another rematch. And it's going to be quite intense. The Red Wings are a team playing much better this year than they were last season. Supposedly, the Sharks took advantage of a weak Detroit team last year when they beat them. We'll see if that was a fluke or not. This Detroit team can score on all aspects and all cylinders. Antti Niemi is going to have to play his A game because they're ranked near the top in goal scoring. Goaltending, however, is pretty average. Jimmy Howard had a kind of a down year this year. He played well against Phoenix, but just remember that it's Phoenix, and Phoenix hasn't done a whole lot since ever. And they might have played their last game in Phoenix this past week or week ago. Uh, Surprisingly, I wanted Detroit rather than playing the Chicago Blackhawks. Why? The fact that Chicago could have had that momentum of a four-game win streak, and if they pulled that win out of their ass in Vancouver, it would have been something to be scared about for sure. It's not that I'm not scared of Detroit, but Chicago and a team that's hot, you don't want to mess with a hot team. Now I know Wings fans are going to argue that, yeah, you guys swept the Coyotes, but you've also had a lot of time in between the rest. So, I don't see a whole lot as much momentum as the team rested for quite a while. Uh, the Sharks are going to be need to be a team that has composure. The Sharks have not been doing very well on the penalty killing. Still, the ranking was showing throughout the series against the Kings. They did come through with 16 straight stops, and then in Game 6 they allow a goal, and then they did get the big kill on a 5-minute major and eventually scored the game series winning goal. The penalty kill is going to need to step it up if they want to play their A game, if you want to call that, because this penalty killing has been atrocious for the most part this year. When it comes to going 5-on-5, you know, Pavel Datsyuk is a great player. So is Hank Sederberg. So is Dan Cleary. Nicholas Lidstrom, who's been there forever. I mean, it seems that he'll be playing until he's 60 at the rate that he's going, just because age is just a number for him. He's been on the ice forever in his career. One of those players I can respect. Uh, at the Sharks, we'll see how good their scoring is or not, because Detroit passes everything around the table. They got good scoring. So do the Sharks. So depth will probably be the biggest key to this series outside of the obvious goaltending and special teams. The third line of Pavelski, Mitchell, Wellwood will be the big X factor, and we'll find out which team is for real or for not on the third and fourth lines. I think the first two lines will pretty much cancel themselves out, but Detroit has the defensive advantage, and that's what pretty much worries me, is because any good defender can stop some good offense. Sharks are going to need to find their ways and find their gaps. They always try to go for the pretty goal every time. They're always going for the pretty and fancy goal. They try to get fancy, and yeah, I know it executes and it can work at times, but they're not able to get that measly, scrappy goal in this game. They're not as gritty as you'd hope. Uh, Jamie Howard is a pretty average goalie. I'm not very impressed with him. He's had his good moments and he's had his solid times, but throughout the season, definitely pretty average to me. But so is Antti Niemi. The Sharks put a lot of investment and a lot of faith in Niemi, and we'll see if it pays off or not. Because Niemi's going to need to learn to play out of his mind as well. Some of those X factors, though, Ian White is another one. I think Ian White has been a great pickup and great rental for us. I hope we re-sign him when the season ends. We don't know about that, but he's been definitely an underrated player under the radar. And Doug Wilson successfully traded for him, which has definitely made a difference. So I'll give him that. Nicholas Voleen's been pretty terrible. That's when I'm very frustrated. But other than that, the offense needs to wake up. The big question, besides all the intangibles I said, is do the Sharks have home ice disadvantage? The Sharks have not played well at home this postseason. I don't know why. They have some kind of swagger and grit on the road because they have no fear and they have the crowds against them. But when they're home, it feels as if they're nervous and it's like their nerves are going to get to them. They're going to need to show up big in these opening two home games, and that'll really define the series because I'm not scared of the Joe Louis Arena. I expect us to get a win in that building. But the home ice disadvantage potentially, That's probably my biggest concern with this Sharks team now that they're near the top. So those are the big keys I have for this game is just the penalty killing and composure. Once again, Detroit is very impressive, and don't get me wrong, but if the Sharks can play the defense they play it against them in the regular season, then they have a very good chance to win this. But the shot selection is going to need to be key, as well as the special teams. Looking at the rest of these NHL playoffs, it's been pretty entertaining. I'll give you guys that. Hope you all have been enjoying the first round because I was very entertained with a lot of game sevens, a couple overtimes. Vancouver, Chicago was insane, and so was Montreal and Boston. That was a great series. Both of them were great to watch as a neutral. And also the Nashville Predators. Congratulations to them for winning their first playoff series because I know Barry Trotz is one of those under the radar coaches, so I got to give my props to him. And also props to the Philadelphia Flyers for making a comeback after being down 3-2 in the series. They also had their composure despite having a scare in Game 6, and Game 7 they dominated their competition. So once again though, go Sharks as always. Don't expect a game 1 video like right after the game. I probably won't be on the computer immediately. I'll be able to watch it, but I'll be actually out of town, so being next to a computer and getting a video up, don't expect the game 1 video right after the game. It'll probably be very late at night or even the next morning. So we'll see y'all later, and once again, go Sharks.